All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shooting Lights Out as we get into our final thing for today, and it's a heat check with the New Orleans Pelicans. And before I do, those of you just saw the ad for Paramount Plus. The Paramount Plus thing, they have a sale going on right now. Well, you can get 50% off a 1 year subscription with Paramount Plus. You use the winter code winter with your promo code winter50. That is winter WINTER 50. Use the promo code. You can get 50% off a 1 year subscription with Paramount Plus today. So go ahead and take advantage of that. Like I said, back to our heat check with the New Orleans Pelicans. My goodness. Who saw the New Orleans Pelicans doing what they have done this year so far this season? 2 months into the season, and the Pelicans have been balling their butts off. All right. Currently 18-8 in the Western Conference, holding the #1 spot. They are top 10 in every category you see on the screen, those of you who are watching on YouTube. They are third in points per game at 117.6. They are eighth in opponents per points per game at 110.6. That is a point differential of +7 Pelicans play. They are seven in both rebounding and assists with 45.2 rebounds a game and 27 assists a game. This team is playing good ball. Zion Wilson is healthy. Brandon Ingram is doing his thing. CJ McCollum finally gets a full year with the Pelicans, and you see what these boys can do. They started off the season 500. They started off the season beating the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, winning that shot before suffering their first loss to the Jazz. When the Jazz was on the rise, and we had to do a heat check with the Jazz, but then with the Pelicans from the beginning of the season to just before my birthday, they were 5-5. Okay, so we didn't pay no attention. And then all of a sudden, it's been a turning point. They have been, let me see, 13-3 the rest of their way, including winning the last 7 games. Okay, as you can see on the screen, those of you who are watching on YouTube, 13-3 in the last 21 games. 13-3 in the last 16 games. But in the last 7 games, they have been all W's. Beating the Thunder, the Toronto Raptors, the Spurs, the Nuggets, the Detroit Pistons, and the Phoenix Suns in back-to-back games. Back-to-back games now. I'm going to get to both of those games in a minute. As we continue to look at Brandon Ingram, averaging 20.8 points per game with five rebounds and about 5 assists a game. So you're talking 21, 5, and 5 from Brandon Ingram. That's what you like to see. For CJ McCollum, you're talking 17.5 a game with 5 rebounds a game and about 6 assists a game. That's a good job from a shooting / point guard position. He can put the ball in the bucket, but he also can facilitate the offense and do his thing. But most people, when it comes to New Orleans Pelicans, was talking about this guy, Mr. Zion Wilson, who is healthy for once. He is averaging 25 points per game, 7 rebounds a game with 4 assists a game. That man's been on a mission. And by the way, Zion Wilson is my lights out player of the week. Just for this episode here, I haven't only done one other one that was Damian Lillard. But for this week, I think I can do one, and I think Zion Wilson deserves to be mentioned as the lights out player of the week because Zion Wilson has been on the tear. I will get to why he's the player of the week in a minute, but let's just look at what happened with the Phoenix Suns, by the way. As you can see here, on December 9th, the second of 3 meetings with the Phoenix Suns, because Phoenix won the first one. Matter of fact, let me give you the score of that one real quick. Let me go back to here and give you that score of the first meeting when they played, because that was part of the 5-5 streak that the Pelicans were on when they started the season. So pretty much you know that the Pelicans are on the 2-1 victory over the Suns right now. But their first meeting back in November, they lost to the back in October, shall I say. Back in October, there would be a 111-124 loss in the desert up in Phoenix, Arizona. That game was back on October 28th. In that game, I don't think did Zion play that game. That's the question. I'm gonna see right. Zion did not play that game, but nevertheless, Mikal Bridges had 27 points to lead all scorers. He had 16 from Devin Booker, only 7 points from Chris Paul, but he wasn't even that one. But now you have back-to-back games. December 9th, the first one of two inside New Orleans Smoothie King Center. Zion Williamson goes off for 35 points, 76.5% from the field, and 7 rebounds. Zion Williamson was 13 for 17 from the field, for those of you who are looking what the numbers were. 13 for 17 from the field. And this dunk right here is the dunk that kind of sparked a little scuffle at the end of the game, because at the end of the game, he decided to do a windmill when the game was already in hand. And the Phoenix Suns took exception to that. But nevertheless, Devin Booker had a poor game, 14 points on 5 of 17 shooting. Chris Paul had 24 points with 8 boards and 7 assists. DeAndre Ayton with 25 and 14, but it wasn't enough because Zion Williamson had 35. CJ McCollum had 18 points with 7 boards and 8 assists. There was no Brandon Ingram in this game, but nevertheless, the Pelicans took it. How would the rematch go? Which took place yesterday with the Suns not having Devin Booker due to a hamstring injury. So they were short of man, but DeAndre Ayton 28 points and 12 boards for the Suns. Mikal Bridges had 27. Chris Paul had a very porous game with 6 points, 3 for 10 shooting. He did have 11 rebounds. Nevertheless, no Brandon Ingram again for game 2. No difference. As the Pelicans won game 2, 129-124 in overtime. CJ McCollum, 29 points, 7 assists. Zion was another 35-point game. It was 66.7% from the field. He shot 14 for 21. He also went 66.7% from 3 because he shot 3 threes and hit 2 of them. So he went 2 for 3 from 3. 14 for 21 overall. He also had 8 boards in that one. And 2 games against the Suns, which he played because he didn't play the first meeting against Law, but the 2 games he has played, the last 2, 70 points, 27 for 38 from the field. That equates to 71% shooting. And the 2 for 3 was from game 2. 15 boards, 7 assists, and he was a plus 46 in the plus minus category. He's playing well. He's playing good. That's why he is my lights out player of the week. I must say, in the last 5 games, for Zion Williamson has been amazing. He has dropped 159 points. That is 31.8 points per game. He has shot 66% from the field, going 56 out of 85 from the field with 46 rebounds, 24 assists, with a plus minus of plus 86 in the last 5 games. Zion Williamson and the Pelicans on this 7-game winning streak. Zion has been that guy to lead the Pelicans to these wins. With CJ McCollum playing, Brandon Ingram out for the time being, the Pelicans are rocking and rolling as the number 1 team in the race right now. Can they keep it up is the question, though. Can they keep it up is the question, because they got some games coming up. They got back-to-back games at Utah, starting tomorrow and then Thursday. Then they go to Phoenix on the 17th. I believe this is the final meeting between the 2 teams. This one back in the desert. So December 17th is the last meeting for them 2, and that game will be showed on ABA TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then after you play Phoenix for the final time, you have the Milwaukee Bucks coming in to Smoothie King Center to face off before the Spurs come in, before you take the trip to OKC, before you face off with the Indiana Pacers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Philadelphia 76ers at home before you finish the year of 2022 out in Memphis against John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. So, can the streak continue? Because this one, you have the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 matchups coming up. This is the next 10 games. The next 10 games. Can the streak get to 17 and 0? Or will it end at 7? Because that's a Utah team who can score with anybody. And then you have Phoenix after you play Utah twice, then Milwaukee. So you have your next 4 games are really interesting games before you face a Spurs team who's reeling, an OKC team who's down at the bottom, before you face off with the Pacers who can score with anybody as well. A Timberwolves team who is coming back healthy, and a Philadelphia 76ers team who Joel Embiid is on a tear right now, dropping 50 points in their last game when they played the Charlotte Hornets when he dropped 50 and they beat them by 20. Before you play John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. But nevertheless, the New Orleans Pelicans are the heat check of the week. And doing so, thank you for tuning in. This has been Shooting Lights Out. I will catch